in a seated position and work on shoulder mobility and strength. So this is our active range of motion, when we're just relying on the muscles themselves to do the range of motion instead of using an external lever like one hand. This would be passive range of motion. My left hand's pulling my right arm across the body versus just pulling my right arm across the body with the muscles around the joint. Okay, so we're working on active range of motion for our vinyasa flow. So find a comfortable seated position. You don't have to sit cross-legged. It doesn't really matter how you're sitting. I want your spine nice and long and relaxed. So even if that means you're sitting in a chair, sit in a chair. If you're sitting on the floor, I recommend elevating the sits bones on a prop. Once you're comfortable in your seat, spread your arms out wide, curl your fingers into the palm of your hand, thumbs up towards the ceiling, and we're just rotating thumbs down and then back up. Thumbs down, back up. Try to get your thumbs to point behind you. So you're finding this full rotation of the shoulder. Ball and socket joint, 360 degrees is 360 degrees is the range of motion of a ball and socket joint. So you're trying to find that in your body right now. And it might be that one side feels a little bit stickier than the other, one side might feel a little bit freer. These are just little indications of most likely like repetitive motion, dominant hands, little things like how you're sleeping, maybe if you're sleeping on your back, if you're sleeping on your side. Things to notice in our daily lives. Our habits and behaviors result in asymmetry in the body. Let's take one more breath here. And then relax those arms. Just cross the arms in front of the body a couple of times. Then we'll take a big breath in and stretch those hands up towards the ceiling. And then it's like you're trying to clap your own hands. So you might even hear a little bit of sound there as the fingertips snap into the palm of the hand. Big breath in, make sure you're breathing as you do this. Big breath out. Keep breathing. Let's take about 3 more breaths here. Clap a little bit harder if you can. It's going to get more and more challenging the longer you go, which is what we're aiming for. That burning sensation, absolutely normal, and it is the goal. All right, let's relax. Swing the arms out, cross them in front of the body. All right, so in your seated position, hands to the knees, roll the chest forward, and then roll the chest back. So chest forward, a little bit of a back bend, and then round the upper back towards the space behind you, tuck the chin in. So it's like a seated cat-cow. So just kind of checking in with the whole spine, including the neck and the low back. How does that feel? We're going to start to draw circles here. So right shoulder to right knee, forward and down across to the left knee, and then round the upper back towards the space behind you. You're drawing this big circle with the shoulders and the head. And you're just going in that one direction right now. If you're seated cross-legged, take a moment to pause at the top, big breath in, and switch out the crossing of the shins. And if you want to change your seat, go ahead and do it. We're just going to change the direction of the circle. So left shoulder towards left knee, forward and down, across to that right knee, and then pressing the back to the space behind you and continue in that opposite pattern. I like to take my hands and press down on my knees a little bit to open up my hips and just to kind of get a sense of how that's feeling today. One more time all the way around. Good. And we'll come back up nice and tall through that spine, and we'll come onto hands and knees for tabletop. So in your tabletop, wrist underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Go ahead, tuck the toes here, press back through the ball ends of the feet. Take a big breath in, lift the heart, lift the tailbone. Big breath out, press the floor away, around the chin in towards the chest, tuck the tailbone under. 2 more rounds of cat and cow on hands and knees. One more time, big breath in. Good, and then let's come down to the forearms. So it's like a modified tabletop shape. You're down onto your forearms and your elbows. And we're going to continue with that cat-cow if we can. So it's going to get a little bit smaller, like that range of motion will be less, and that's okay. And so you're just trying to depress the chest, the belly down towards the floor, open the throat, lift the tailbone on your inhale, and then exhale just like you would in cat, tucking the chin in, tucking the tailbone under, pressing the upper back towards the ceiling. So this version of cat-cow allows us to get a little bit more up into the thoracic spine, which is typically the least flexible part of our back anatomically, because it's protecting all of our vital organs, or rib cage, all of that area. And one more time here. All right, and so from here, stay on your forearms and your elbows, extend your right leg back, tuck your toes, press down through the ball mount of that right foot. So you're active and engaging that right quadricep muscle. And then extend your left leg back, same thing. Now you're in forearm plank. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Set your right knee back down. Keep your left leg where it is in that half forearm plank. Big breath in, big breath out. And then extend the right leg back, forearm plank. So you're just coming back to your forearm plank. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Now let's walk up to high plank. Walk up to your hands, wrist underneath the shoulders. Shift forward into your heel bones until they stack right over your toes. Now press into your hands, lift those hips high, and find downward facing dog. Relax your head here in your down dog. Start to bend your knees right and left. Keep relaxing the head as you bend your knees right and left. Belly's pressing back towards the upper thighs. Maybe you're even looking back between the thighs or at the kneecaps. And then being aware of your hands, palms pressing the floor away actively. Let's take a big breath in. We'll lift those heel bones, travel forward to the top of the mat. Hang out in your first forward fold for a few moments. Be generous with your back. You can bend the knees a lot or a little. You could also grab your opposite elbows and sway your body side to side a few times. Take one more breath in your forward fold. And then as you're ready, inhale, fingertips to shins, lengthen the heart forward. Nice and long through that spine. The spine is parallel with the floor. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, this time we're going to sweep our arms forward and let the arms pull us all the way up to standing, arms reaching overhead. Deep breath in. And then exhale, arms alongside the body. And just pause here, standing at the top of your mat. A little bit, tuck your tailbone under. So it's like your front ribs knit into the front of the hip points. Chest is nice and broad. Shoulder blades relaxing down the back. Deep breath in here. Deep breath out. Maybe close down your eyes. Feel your right foot rooted. Heel bone, big toe mound, pinky toe mound. Feel your left foot rooted. Heel bone, big toe mound, pinky toe mound, and both feet really pressing down to grow nice and tall through your spine. Take one more grounding breath here. And then we'll flow through our Surya Namaskar C with our lunges. Inhale, arms sweep out and up. Exhale, fold all the way in, hinging forward from the hips. Head relaxes as you fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant those hands or fingertips and step your right foot back. Right knee to the mat. Inhale, sweep your arms forward and up. Back up a little bit in those hips. And then exhale, we're going to sweep those hands back behind us and lengthen out through that left leg. Now, if you need your hands here for balance, fingertips can come down to the floor, or you can stretch those hands back behind you. See if you can stay nice and long through that spine. Include the back of the neck. And then as you inhale, sweep those arms forward and up, rebend into that left knee, and pause here for your low lunge. Exhaling, those hands come back to the mat, stepping back to your downward facing dog, pause, big breath in, big breath out. Take 2 more breaths here in our down dog. So we're inhaling through the nose, maybe exhaling through the nose or the mouth. One more time, big breath in. Long, complete breath out. Inhale, right leg sweeps high. Exhale, right foot steps forward, top of the mat. Left knee down. Arms sweep forward and up. A little bit back up through those hips. And then as you exhale, we're going to shift those hips back. Arms sweep back, lengthening out through that right leg. Remember, your fingertips can come down to the mat if you need a little extra help with balance. And then as you inhale, arms sweep forward and up, chest rises, right knee rebends. Pause here, breath in. And then on your breath out, heel toe your right foot wide. Bring your hands down to the top of your mat. So both your hands are inside of your right front foot. Those toes are turning out to the side. So even come off the mat with your right foot. We're going to try to step forward into a squat. So tuck those back toes, lift the back knee. Step the left foot forward outside of your left hands. And then you can start to, I like to lift my hips up first, get my feet into place. So feet like outer hip width distance apart, or maybe even a little bit wider. And then you can start to bend your knees deep, deep, deep. Sink the hips low. And start to bring the weight into the right foot and then into the left foot. Right foot, left foot. So you're just kind of wiggling side to side, negotiating with those hips, knees, and ankles. And eventually you'll find your version of malasana, whether that be the hips up in line with the knees or hamstrings resting down onto the calves. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then hips lift up, forward fold over the legs, turn your toes to point forward. Hang out here in your forward fold for an extra breath. Inhale, fingertips to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, use your arms and your back body to sweep all the way up to standing. And then exhale, arms alongside the body. Pause here and just go through that little checklist of tucking your tailbone, hips up to the frontal ribs, chest nice and broad, shoulders down the back. Maybe close your eyes here, take a full round of breath to ground and reset. So Surya Namaskar C, second round, basically the same thing, just a little bit more breath to movement. So breath leading the shape. Inhale, arms sweep up. This doesn't mean we're going faster. It means the breath is leading the shape. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Left foot steps back. Left knee down. Inhale, arms sweep up. And then exhale, arms going to sweep back. Right leg lengthens out. Fingertips stretch back behind you if you like. Try to keep that spine nice and long. And then coming back into your lunge, arms sweep up, right knee rebends. Exhale, plant those hands, step back, downward facing dog, pause. 3 breaths, inhale. Exhale. Again, deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more time here, inhale. Exhale. We'll inhale, left leg sweeps up and back. And then step your left foot forward, right knee to the mat. Inhale, arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, arms sweep back. You could use those fingertips for balance. As you straighten out through the left leg, try to keep the torso, the spine nice and long, back of the neck included. As you're ready, inhale, Arms sweep forward and up. And then exhale, plant those hands inside of that left front foot. Heel toe that left foot out wide, so left toes turn out to the side off of the mat. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Stepping back up into Malasana, right foot steps forward. It's okay if it takes you a couple of steps to get there. And then start to wiggle the hips side to side, bend the knees right and left. Shift the weight right foot, left foot a few times. And you're kind of just negotiating with your feet, your ankles, your knees, your hips, even your spine to settle into your version of Malasana. If the heel bones are lifted off the mat, try and tuck and roll the top edge of your mat. Place that underneath your heel bones, and that will help with that range of motion in the ankles in particular. Wherever you are, see if you can get your triceps or your elbows nestled into your inner knees, and say if you can press your knees away from each other, find a nice tall spine, or just imagine that. Deep breath in, and then exhale, fold over your legs, lift your hips high. If you rolled your mat underneath your heel bones, unroll it. Heel toe your feet back to parallel. Hang out here in your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, sweep your arms forward and up. Now this time, exhale, elbows wide, heart forward, pelvis forward. Arms continue reaching back behind you, palms face each other. And either stay there with your hands, trying to squeeze your triceps towards each other, palms towards each other, or maybe find that interlace of the fingers to the webbing. You have a scrap of clothing, that can be nice to pull in between the fists and work the arms towards straight without having to have that clasp all the way. So just know that's an option. Whatever we've got going on, let's lift the chest up, and then we'll exhale as we hinge forward over the hips, back into our forward fold with the hands, fingertips, or the knuckles reaching back behind us, away from the tailbone up towards the ceiling. So I have a deep bend in my knees, and my belly's resting on my thighs. You could try bending your knees a lot to create that. And then on our next exhalation, we'll release the hands all the way down to the mat. Step back to your high plank. Settle in to your high plank. Pause there, breathe in, shift forward onto those tippy toes. With or without the knees, listen up. Try and lower down to your forearms and find that forearm plank or supported forearm plank. You can always set those knees to the mat, but try to keep a nice long low back and try to keep the tailbone tucked and the upper back pressing up towards the ceiling in your forearm plank. Take one big breath in here. If your knees are lifted, start to lower them. We're lowering down into Sphinx pose. Untuck those toes. Your heart's pulling forward and through the shoulders. Your fingertips, it's like they're trying to claw their way forward. And feet go a little bit wider. Press down through the big toe mound of the foot. Rather, the big toenails here on the tops of your feet. Take one more breath in here. If you want a little bit more, you can take your hands out wide. Press the floor away, lift the elbows up. Try to keep the pelvis down. If that's too much on the low back, just bring those elbows back down to the mat. Wherever you are, stay for your exhale. Next inhale breath will release. Walking those hands underneath the shoulders, tucking the forehead so it touches the mat, tucking the toes under. Deep breath in. Everything gets tight. On your exhale, try to press up with a really straight and strong spine and legs into your supported or high plank. And then meet me in your downward facing dog. We're going to take 3 deep breaths at our down dog. One set of variation of standing warrior 2 and side angle. And then we'll cool it down for our final shavasana. So from your down dog, sweep your right leg up and back. Exhale, step your right foot forward between the hands at the top of the mat. Spin your left foot flat. Rise up to your warrior two. And just take a few moments here to adjust the feet. Nice, deep, deep bend in that right knee. Look forward at your right toes and your knee. Make sure they're going the same direction towards the top of your mat. And then back foot is a little bit of an angle. Toes are kind of starting to curve forward towards the top of the mat, but you're really grounded through that back left foot. You can spread your arms out wide. And as you're settling in here to the stance, let's flip those palms up and turn those palms down and back behind you. So kind of like what we were doing at the beginning of our class, we're just rotating the hands open and then down and back behind you. Try that a couple more times. Just revisiting this active range of motion of the shoulder, the head of the shoulder moving around in its socket. One more time like that, full rotation, whatever that means for you. And then let's reverse that warrior. So right arm sweeps high, left arm can reach down towards that back left leg, or you can snake the forearm behind the low back, make a little fist with that left hand, and press the forearm into the low back. Okay, so we're not trying for the bind here. Left fingertips are not reaching towards that right hip crease. You're making a fist with that left hand, pressing the forearm into the low back. Now reach forward with that right hand, and you can either place it on the right thigh or reach that right hand down, fingertips to the floor alongside that right ankle. Pressing that forearm into your low back, try to turn and look up towards the ceiling, open that left shoulder towards the ceiling. Big breath in here. Big breath out. With your left forearm still behind your low back, start to rise up. Reverse your warrior once more. And then we'll exhale, windmill those hands down. Frame out that front foot at the top of your mat. Step back, high plank. Slowly lower down to forearm plank. Pause. With or without those knees. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And then let's lower down into Sphinx pose. So set the knees down softly, untuck the toes, take the feet wide on your mat. It's like you're clawing your way forward with your fingertips. You're either staying there on your elbows in Sphinx or pressing the floor away and lifting the elbows for seal. Take one more breath. And then exhale back to Sphinx if you came up to seal. Walking those hands underneath the shoulders, forehead rest, toes tuck, deep breath in, everything gets tight. Exhale, press up supported or high plank. Hips lift. Downward facing dog, 3 breaths. 3 breaths here. In through the nose, out through mouth or nose, your choice. In through nose, out through nose or mouth. One more breath here. And then as you're ready, inhaling, left leg sweeps high. Exhale, left foot steps forward between the hands. Right foot spins flat. Adjust your feet. Find that stance in your warrior two. That's the foundation of this shape is your feet. So get that dialed in. Both feet are flat. Pressing the floor away. Left toes, left knee tracking straight forward. And that back foot slightly, those toes are slightly angled forward as well. Okay, arms spread wide. Start to rotate palms up and then palms down and back behind you. As you sink a little bit lower into that left knee and stay committed to pressing down through the pinky toe edge of your right foot. Right leg is straight, active, and strong. 2 more times, rotate. Notice if the side feels any different. Okay, now let's reverse that warrior. Left arm high, right arm down towards the right leg, or make that fist and snake that right forearm up to the low back. Now you're going to keep that fist, pressing that strong forearm into the low back as you stretch forward with that left hand. Fingertips can reach down towards the mat alongside that inner ankle, or you can just rest your left forearm on your thigh. Either way, try to press the forearm into the low back a little bit Look up towards the ceiling, trying to open that right chest and shoulder towards the ceiling as well, while maintaining that warrior two stance with the legs deep bend in that left knee. Commit to that right foot pressing down. Take one more breath here. If you got that hot bind, keep it. As you inhale, sweep that left arm high, reverse warrior. And then exhale, unwind those arms, sweep them forward, frame out that left foot. If you want one final vinyasa flow here, you can take it. If you're enjoying what we're doing today, from plank down to forearm plank, and then knees, and then Sphinx pose. Untuck those toes, take those feet a little bit wider. If you want seal, press into the hands to lift the elbows up. And exhale, come all the way down. Now we're going to rest on our belly here for a few moments. So legs are stretched out behind you. Make a little pillow with the backs of your hands. Elbows go wide. Rest your forehead on the backs of your hands. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Bend those knees. Sway the feet side to side. A little release for the low back. And then let's press up to hands and knees here. Press up to hands and knees. And we're going to make two 90-degree angles with our legs. So 90-90 stretch. Right knee forward towards the top of the mat, and then roll all the body weight onto that right hip. You're not sitting on that right ankle, so bring that right foot forward a little bit. And then deep bend in that left knee. So you can look at your legs and see that they're making two 90-degree angles. Okay, from there, we're going to turn forward towards the top of our mat. And if your knee's in the way, you can start to rotate it out of the way so that your torso is trying to lay down over the right hip. Okay, so hands go wide. Like I'm taking my hands off of my mat. And so it's almost like a goalpost shape or cactus shape with my arms. As I lower my forehead down towards the mat, my elbows are bent. And then I'm going to press the floor away, big breath in, lift up. This is kind of like a variation of pigeon or deer pose if you're familiar with deer pose. And then down towards the floor. So I'm bending my elbows and then pressing the floor away to lift up. I'm just kind of undulating in and out of this shape. Now, next time forehead comes down towards the mat, if that's feeling good, feel free to stay there. You can relax those elbows down towards like a Sphinx pose. Or you could spread those arms out wide for like a capital T shape with the upper arms, or the upper body rather. And if you're not getting anywhere near the floor, don't worry about it. It's okay. You can stay up on your elbows. You can stay up on your hands. Just breathing into this rotation of the spine. A little bit of the hips as well. Take one more breath here. You're all the way down on your forehead and belly. Start to lift up. Now to come to the second side, we're just going to switch out those legs. So follow along with me here. I'm just rotating my feet to the opposite side where my head just was, rolling all of my body weight onto my left hip. All of my body weight's on my left hip. Both knees are bent 90-degree angles. So my right knee is behind my left foot. My right knee is behind my left foot. And then I'm turning my torso over towards my left hip. And I'm framing out the top of my mat with my hands. And the hands can come off of the mat. So hands are a little bit wider. And then I'm just going to undulate the spine here. Bend those elbows. Maybe the forehead touches. And then press the floor away. Lift the chest. Straighten out through the arms. Do that twice more. Make sure you're breathing. One more time, and then pause anywhere along the way. Maybe that means forehead touches, maybe arms go out wide. You can stay up here if it's enough to stay up on the hands and just breathe length into the spine. And this is a pretty big ask of your body and your hips and your spine, especially if rotation and hips are often tight or sticky for you. Make it a little bit more shallow. Stay up on your hands. Just practice that length in the spine. Wherever you are, we're going to take one more breath. And start to walk those hands underneath the shoulders, lift up. And we'll turn around so you're on both your sits bones. And then you'll lay all the way down onto your back. Hug those knees into the chest. Final movement here, maybe happy baby, rocking that side to side. Take your time with that, but when you're ready for shavasana, you can simply just stretch out through your legs. I'm going to set us a timer for 1 minute. If you have more time to spend in shavasana, please feel free to take it. I'll call us out of shavasana when the time comes. Start to relax your eyes, your jaw, the muscles of your face. A comfortable position to rest your hands, your elbows, your shoulders, your legs. Just imagine letting it all go, letting it all rest. The next few breaths. If you have more time to spare in your day, please feel free to stay longer here. Otherwise, gentle movement to your fingertips, your toes. When you're ready, big breath in, stretch your arms overhead. And exhale, bend the knees, roll off to a side. And then briefly, if you'd like to join me in an upright seat, make your way there. And then we'll close out our practice. So sitting up nice and tall and supported. Hands can rest gently on the thighs. Shoulders shift back over the hips. Maybe the eyes stay closed. Deep breath in. Long, complete breath out. Just following the pathway of breathing in and out through your nose. When that feels complete, you can join your hands together at your heart and bow your chin into your chest. Honoring your practice with reverence and gratitude to all of our teachers, past, present, future, to the teacher within your own heart. Namaste, yogis. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your practice. Please take care of yourselves and come back again soon.